Good morning, students. I hope my screen is visible. So, a very quick recap. So, in last session, I have begun with collections, and we understood that collection itself is a object that holds group of objects, and we understood why we need to go for collections, since Java itself is object-oriented programming language. We require collections in order to represent and manipulate objects in a group rather than individually. So, for that, Java provided java.util package, which we call it as a collection framework that represents and manipulates collections on a whole. And then we also have discussed the advantages of going to collections and the various operations that are possible over a collection. And we also understood the fact that what a collection framework generally consists of. And then we began with array list, and we also have seen with a program about generic programming. And I also stated that generics was added only from Java 5, or you can also say JDK 1.5, and prior to that collections was non-generic based. From 1.5 onwards collections was generic based. And what are the advantages also we have seen major three advantages by going with generic based. The first advantage is type safety, where you can enforce that only certain type of objects can be added to a collection. And the second one is no need of explicit typecasting, since you are enforcing a particular type of objects only to be grouped into the collection, you don't require any explicit typecasting. And third important thing is compile time checking. Compile time checking. So since you are ensuring type safety, obviously compile time checking will be ensuring that all the items were added appropriate type only, rather than getting a mismatch type during the execution and terminating the program with non-generic programming. So these are the three key advantages to go for generic based collections. And in yesterday's class I have shown you array list with the generic based as well as non-generic based, and I have shown all these three advantages, how they will be useful. And also I have shown you how we can create our own generic class, and we can use all that also I have demonstrated you. So let's move on to the remaining collections. So in today's class what we are going to see is we are going to look at one of the legacy class, vector. I already mentioned in last session also, legacy is nothing but old. Legacy means old. So these legacy classes are there since Java 1 onwards. From 1.2 onwards we have some additional classes and interfaces being added to the collection framework, that is to the util package. And prior to 1.2, whichever classes or interfaces we used to have, we say them as legacy classes and interfaces. And prior to 1.2, what are the legacy classes that we used to have are The first and foremost is the vector, which we are going to look at it now, and then dictionary, and then hash table, and then stack and properties class. So these are the five legacy classes that used to be there prior to Java 1.2, and enumeration is one legacy interface that used to be there prior to Java 1.2. So since they are existing since Java 1 onwards, we say them legacy classes and interfaces. And from Java 1.2, we got this array list and linked list, hash set, tree set, maps being introduced to this util package. We will look at one at a time, and we will understand how they are useful. So let's begin understanding about vector. So before introducing you to vector, I want to show you what are the different ways of enumerating over the collections. So this is one way of enumerating over array list, which we have seen earlier, and even there are other ways of iterating over the collection. So let's have a quick look of how to do that. Now you can see, if I'm directly writing the array list object itself, even that's fine. That's not going to raise any error. It's only for displaying the entire array list object. So this is how it will be appearing. So you can see it just displays the entire list in the order they were added to the list. In the same order they will be appearing. If you are going to directly display as array list like this, and the other way of doing is you can even use a for each loop. So this is how you will be using a for each loop. Suppose I'm saying string s colon, I want it to navigate over this array list object, and then here instead of saying ob, you can just write yes. So this you are going to get one at a time. So here yes, which is of type string, will be moving over this particular array list collection object. One at a time it is going to display. So this is what the difference, rather than displaying the entire collection at a time. And this we call it as the for each loop, and this for each loop is used over iterating over a collection. So this is how you will be using the for each loop. And another way of iterating is using the iterator interface. We have an interface called iterator interface, and this iterator interface is also added from JDK 1.2. Prior to that we have only enumeration interface, and remember the fact that enumeration interface can only be used over legacy classes, not on the classes which are added from 1.2. Just remember that. So equal to my collection object dot, and here you can see when I'm saying whatever the operations that are possible with this array list object, all that you will be getting. So I'm just using iterator, and obviously you can expect this iterator has to be imported, and it's a interface. Remember that iterator is an interface. Okay, I have imported something else. So okay, iterator I equal to ob dot iterator. So now iterator is an interface, and I'm not creating object to iterator. I'm just invoking the iterator method, which will return me the iterator instance. And now with this iterator, what I can do is I can just use a while loop. So here you can see while I dot has next is a method. Here you can see the return type of it boolean. So this has next is used to check if there is a next element, if there is a next element for the iterator to iterate over. That's what it will do. And if it has, then what we can do is we can just display that by using the method I dot next. So if there is a next object, then iterator will be returning true with this method has next. If there is a next object, then it will return true. And what is that object? This next method will return. So next method returns the next element. Has next will check if there is a next element. So that's what this purpose. And here okay, let's first save this, and then if I just run this, I'm just showing you the different ways of enumerating over the collection. Just showing you the different ways of enumerating over the collection. And similar to iterator interface, exclusively for the list elements, you can also use list iterator. You can also use list iterator. And this list iterator, so here it is there, import java.util.listIterator. So and here what you can do is by using the list iterator, one advantage is you can even go for other kind of methods. So here you can see for iterator it has only has next, but for this list iterator you have has previous also. That means you can just see how it behaves. Instead of using here next, I'll just use previous. You'll just observe what the output difference will be when I'm using has previous than compared to has next. So okay, it's currently pointing to the very first element. It's currently pointing to the very first element. Since there is no previous, it is just saying no previous. But the fact that you need to understand is, if I use iterator, I can move only forward direction. But by using this list iterator, I can also move backward. But currently here, this particular iterator is pointing to this. Okay, what we will do is, let me just use this while I dot as next. Okay, or just hold on. I is missing here. Dot next, and then I think still, yeah, here you can see now what is happening. So welcome to Java training is being printed, and then you can see even in the reverse order. So when I have not written this, what is happening is initially, so before writing this particular block, I was asking if this particular iterator has previous element. And whenever I am just initializing this particular list iterator, it will be pointing to the very first element of the list. It will be pointing to the very first element. And when what is the question I am putting? Does it has previous? Since it's not having any previous, I mean the first element is not having any previous, that is the reason we have got blank output. And now what I have done is, first I am printing this with hash next, and it is, as I said, by using hash next and next methods, we can just move in the forward direction. Using the hash previous and previous, I can move in the backward direction, just to display the list in reverse order also. So that's the point you just need to understand. But remember this, iterator interface, you can use it over all the collections for iterating over, but list iterator can be used only over the list and its subclasses. List iterator can be used only over subclasses of list. That's the point need to be understood. And list iterator, basically we will be using it when we are interested to traverse the list in reverse order, because it has methods like has previous and previous. So has next will check if there is a next element, next will return the next element. Similarly, has previous will check if there is a previous element, previous will return that previous element. And this is what with regard to the iterating over array list using iterator, list iterator, using for each loop. I hope everyone understood different mechanisms to traverse through the collection. Now, next thing what we will look at is, we will see, and here I want you people to examine the different ways of enumerating and other methods of this array list. Just explore it. I'm just showing you basic things. If I can use like this array list integer, it's not generic only, you can also go for any other thing. ob2 equal to new array list, even if you don't give, no problem, 10. So you can see this is another way of creating a array list object. So in this what I am doing is I am creating an array list that can store integers, and now I am specifying size. I am specifying size. Generally we have discussed in previous session that array list is growable array. That means generally the difference between normal array and array list is, array which will hold primitive types, that is one thing. Another one is you have to specify the size before itself. You have to specify the size before itself. With array list, even if you don't specify, it will be growing. You can have growable, the other way you can say dynamic array, dynamically growable array. That's what. Now here when I am specifying size, what you are having is, I am saying initially create this array list with size 10 elements. That's what the point need to be understood. And similarly, I can also create, let me just copy this statement. The other way of creating is, sorry, here let me just change it to ob3. Here instead of this, let me use ob. So here you can see another thing what I have done. So these are the three ways of representing. Here array list ob, which is created without any size specification. That means it will be created with no size restriction, and as long as you keep adding, the array list will grow. And this one you are creating with the size specification, that is 10 elements or 10 integer objects to be stored. And here you can see what we are doing. These are the three ways of creating, and this OB3 being created by passing another collection. So you can initialize an array list by passing another collection as argument to the constructor. Thereby this OB3 will be created with these elements, and later you can keep adding elements. Actually this is wrong, because but still it won't raise any compile time error, because it just satisfies the syntax. Here what is the array list I am passing? That's a string object, and here I have written integer. So don't bother about that. Just understand the point that you can create array list in three ways. First one, without any size specification. Second one, with initial size specification. Third one, with initial collection specified. That means the collection will be automatically added when the array list object is being created, and later you can add further elements as well. And now suppose I have created this array list with the 10 elements, and I have added only 4 elements. For suppose if I have created this array list with the 10 elements, and if I am adding only 4 elements, then what happens? Okay, rather than this, what we will do is, I'll just write 10 here itself. That's better. Here we are having this now. So now what I'll do is, I'll just display this size. ob dot size. Okay, and let's run this. So here you can see, even though you are saying 4, even though you are specified 10, the size is returning only 4. The size is being returned only 4. So size will always return the current number of objects being held by the particular collection object. But the point to be noted is, memory will be initially created for 10 objects. The size, even though it is returning only 4, but memory will be created for 10 objects. In that case, how can you remove that particular size which you have initialized is by just using a method called ob dot, here you can see trim to size. There is a method called trim to size. If you just use this method, automatically whatever the size you might have mentioned initially, it will be reduced to the amount of elements that were added to the collection. So that's the advantage with this trim to size. And for suppose you might have initially specified 10 elements, and later you are interested to increase the size. In that case, you can use another method, that is here you can see ensure capacity. There is a method called ensure capacity. You can just use this method and can specify newer size. So I'm just trying to tell some of the important methods, and you can explore the other methods as well with regard to this. So the only thing what you just need to do is, with regard to this IDE's advantages, you can just type that particular collection object, type dot, and automatically you can see this particular window. Here you can see add of stringy. So you can see what it is saying. The description also comes there. From that you can understand. And if you just move your mouse cursor down, you can see the other methods, and you can see the description side by there. So here you can see add all. So you can see again what it is saying. Whatever the collection, that entire collection will be added at the time of after the object is being created. Or a sub list, a sub collection can also be added. So these are all the various methods, and clear, the name itself can make you understand. In order to clear the entire contents, so the object will not be destroyed, only the contents are deleted. And clone, a duplicate object will be created. And contains, in order to check whether a particular object is present in that collection or not. So like this, you just explore what are the various methods you have, all these things. So this is with regard to this array list. Now let us understand the use of vector. So let me create another class for vector, and I'm just naming this class as vector demo. Then let me use the main method also. I'll just use these same things. So OB isn't specified, so let us specify that. So vector OB equal to new vector, and this is a non-generic version. Let's make it generic, since in last class itself I just made you understand the difference between generic and non-generic. So directly I'm using the generic version. So vector has to be imported. So when you move your mouse cursor over there, it will give you the quick fix. So you can just click on that. So vector got added. Now what are the different ways of creating vector? Now this one, again I need not tell. Just now I have stated with array list, no size specified. And another point is the vector is a legacy class, which is there since Java 1.0. That point also need to be remembered. And here this is one thing. Another way is you can even mention the size. And if you don't specify size, by default the size will be 10 only. By default the size is 10. Just remember that. And if I want, I can even specify size like this, something like this. And another way of doing is like 3 comma 2. This is a specialized constructor for vectors, which indicates 3 is the initial size which you are specifying. Initially I require 3 elements to be stored, for 3 elements memory to be created, and later this 2 is something like a step counter. You can just treat 2, whichever the it may be 2 or some other value specified by you. Just understand that second argument which we are passing is the step counter, or you can treat it something like a incrementer value. It's like a incrementer value. That means initially you are saying create a vector that can hold 3 elements, and after 3 elements you have filled in. So that doesn't mean that you can't fill new elements. So the moment you add the fourth element, the incrementer comes into picture. The incrementer comes into picture. So what it will do is, whatever the initial size 3 is there, when the fourth element is being added, now the 2 will be added to 3 and it becomes 5. The size becomes 5. Just to make you understand, what I'll do is, okay, here I'll just observe this, just to make you understand. Here I will write ob dot size, and ob dot capacity. So just see the two statements what I have written. So initially I created an object for vector and I added one string welcome, and after that I am printing size, and after that I am printing capacity. Now the same two statements I'll also write After adding the fourth element, I just feel that now you will be understanding. Observe this. I have created a vector object by using a specialized constructor which is taking two arguments, and I said the first argument specify the initial size and the second argument is step counter. And now what I am doing is, after adding the very first element, I am just displaying size and capacity, and after adding four elements I am displaying size and capacity. Now let me run this. So here you can see 1 3. What is this 1? After adding first element, these two outputs represent after adding first element. So the size is specifying 1 and the capacity is specifying 3. I hope everyone understanding with this. So the size is displaying 1 since only one element is present inside the vector, and capacity is returning 3 because you have specified the vector object with 3 comma 2, so it can hold 3 elements. That's what it is saying. And after adding four elements, this is the output it returned. And now here you can see the size is returning 4 and the capacity is returning 5. Here the capacity returned 3, here the capacity returned 5. So you have to understand that the step counter will be added to the size value. This is how you are saying to grow. This is how you are saying to grow. And if you still want, you can add two more elements. Okay, let me add these four statements. Now, anyway, it will allow duplicates, but still I am just modifying the objects. Duplicates are allowed with this. This is after adding 6 elements now. So here you can see the first two represents after adding one element. So the size is returning 1, capacity is saying 3. The next two elements here in the output, they represent the after adding 4 elements. So the size is returning 4, capacity is saying 5. And the last two represents after adding 6 elements. So the size is returning 6, capacity is saying 7. So this is how capacity represents how many it can hold. Capacity represents how many it can hold. Size represents how many are currently there. How many are currently there. So that's the reason whatever the initial size you are specifying, but also you are specifying the step counter or the incrementer size. That's why whenever the size is completed and a new element will be added, the size will be incremented by the incrementer value. So this is what the advantage with the vector. And similarly here also you can have a vector with I have shown you so this is also the other way of creating. So here you can leave it without any size specification like this, or you can specify some initial size, or you can specify something like this with initial size and capacity sorry the incrementer value, or this is how you can also create a vector with some collection initialized. So these are the four different ways of creating a vector. And then again coming to enumerating over vector, so you can directly print the collection directly like this. And when you print the collection itself, I hope most of you might be having the output in their mind. Just like with array list, you can see how it is happening. Welcome to Java training on Wipro. So just like with array list, it's coming in comma separated elements within a list. And similarly, you can even use for each loop, just like how I have shown you in array list case. So for, you can say string s ob and then so this is a other way of using, that's for each loop. Let me remove this because it's occupying. Since you understood, I'm just removing this printing of size and capacities. Now when I run this, so you can see how it is being displayed. This is for printing the object itself, and this is for each loop. And another way of displaying is using enumeration. I said in this session itself, enumeration is a legacy interface which can be used only over legacy classes. So here you can find a method elements. You can find a method elements. Here you can see what it is returning. And then, so what is the error? Yeah, you have to import enumeration interface. Enumeration is a legacy interface which is there since Java 1.0. And since vector is also since Java 1.0, you can use it. And how you will be using this enumeration? While e dot, here you can see has more elements. Just like for iterator, how do we have has next? Similarly, here we have has more elements, which will return true if it have more elements. Here you can see next element. So the only difference between iterator and here is iterator has more methods than compared to enumeration. Enumerator is having only these two methods. So you can just see when I type e dot, you can see what are the list of methods, and here you can see these are the only list of methods. And among these also, here you can see something with superscript a. These are the only two methods that belongs to enumeration. Rest all methods you can see they are of object class. Here you can see these methods belong to object class. So among all these list of methods that were shown here, only two methods belong to enumeration. That is has more elements, which returns boolean. If it has more elements, then it returns true, and next element will return that particular element. Rest of the methods belong to object class. Whereas iterator, you have more elements. With iterator, you have more elements. Here you can see. So even if I type here I dot, here you can see how many of the methods you are having, and you can see which of them belongs to which one. This belongs to list iterator, this belongs to object class, this belongs to this one, object class list iterator. Okay, I think this is for list iterator. If you use iterator, you can find more. Let me use now you can see with iterator what are the different methods you are having. So remember, iterator interface is coming only from Java 1.2 onwards, whereas enumeration is there since Java 1, but enumeration can be used only over legacy classes like vector, hash table, stack, dictionary, properties, like that. Only over legacy classes you can use this enumeration interface. And the other way to add elements to vector is ob dot. Here you can see what are the different ways. Here you can see rather than add element also can be used. This add element is not there for array list. With this you can add, and even here you can see you can also add element using like this element at index. You can specify like this, And this is another way of representing. Suppose here I am using this one, so I can specify index 0, and then you can specify some string. So here you can see add is a overloaded method. I hope you can understand by these two statements. Add is an overloaded method. You can directly add the object, or you can add the object at a specified index. You can add the object directly, or you can add the object with at a specified index. So these are the different ways of using. So here you can see, since I have specified at 0, even though I am writing that statement after adding welcome, you can see how where it is being added. And similarly, if you want to perform remove also, you can do ob dot. So here you can see what are the other things. So first element method will return the very first element. Similarly, last element will remove the return the very last element, and like that you also have. So remove, you can see, you can specify the index, or you can directly specify the object itself. Similarly, you can use remove all, which removes all elements and returns a boolean. If you use remove all elements, nothing will be returned, but elements will be removed completely. Similarly, you can also use clear method. And contains, I have said you with the array list also, it will just return boolean if a certain object is being searched. So just explore various methods with vectors also. Now let's move on to another collection, that is linked list. Sorry, we have to create here. So these are the three we will be covering as part of this list interface: array list, vector, and linked list. Always make sure that you don't use the existing class names. So linked list demo. Again, let me use strings only. You can try with any other data types. I'm just using same data type so that I'm copying and pasting the statements. So this is how you can create. Okay, linked list has to be imported. So that's what it should give me the quick fix. And then okay, again let me copy the same things. Ob dot what I'll do is, let's create another list. And here I'll use this ob2. And now what I'll do is from this I'll just copy these three. Only for this reason I'm using the same data type. Just I can copy and paste the things. And here I'll just use 2. Now here what I can do is another thing is okay, first let us just display both. and then I'll show other methods. So I've just created two linked lists. I need not explain what a linked list is. You all know that. So here you can see two lists are displayed. The first list contains welcome to Java 3 objects. The second list contains training on Wipro. Now what I'll do is I'll just perform this ob dot. Here you can see add all. Here you can see add all. So I'm just adding this, and here I'm just writing ob2. I'm just writing ob2, and now once again let us display this so that you will find the difference. So I hope you can understand what is happening. So when I am writing ob.add all, the entire list is getting added. The entire list is getting added. Similarly, instead of writing add all, you can also perform something like here you can see add all int index. That means I can specify something like okay, let me just give 1, and then here ob2, and then here semicolon. Yeah, now you can see earlier it have just appended to the last. Now I have given index where it should get added. I have given that. Now you can see what is happening. So after welcome, the ob2 is getting added. After welcome, the ob2 entire collection is getting added like this, and remaining is shifted. So I hope you are following. So this is how you are performing linked list. You know basically what are the various operations that can be performed over linked list. You can insert in between. You can insert at the anywhere like that, and you can just see by clicking on ob dot add first, add last. The name itself makes you understand. Add first means whichever element now you are going to add, that will be added as first. Last, appended last, like that. Clear, you can understand by the name itself. Contains, in order to check whether a particular thing is available or not. So like this you can just perform, and you can even perform what else. Yeah, let me show you the use of iterator here. So if I use iterator, I equal to ob dot, here you can see with linked list, especially descending iterator. You can see with linked list, especially descending iterator. If I use this, I hope you can understand what happens. In order to have things displayed in reversal order, okay, okay, it's not the way. Okay, it import iterator. Actually I have imported from swing, which we have to import from util. That's the reason it asked me to perform casting. You have to check and click on directly. The first option may not be what you expected. Always do check that. While I dot has next, and then so I've just use descending iterator, and let's see what happens. So now you can see what is happening. Things are coming in reverse order. Things are coming in reverse order. So generally if I use directly iterator, you know that it will be initialized to the very first element. If I am using descending iterator, it is being initialized I mean, the iterator is initialized to the very last element. That's the basic difference. And this descending iterator can be used only with linked list, not with array list or vector. Remember that point also. So that's what I just said. You can just click on ob dot, and then you can understand what are the various methods that this particular class is having. Here you can see linked list like this. All these things are of linked list, and this method is coming from list interface. This method is coming from object class. So like that you can see, and if you move your arrows, you can just even go through the description on the side, and you can just explore that. All those things you have to experiment it, then only you can get command over that. And this is with regard to the linked list. And yeah, let's get to stack. Let's see how to use stack. So stack demo, I'm just using everything, the existing things with the demo added. Let me close this. So, and then create an object for stack. Stack again, I'll use string only. You can use anything. I said why I'm using this, because I'm having some statements which are there. New stack. So you can just and st dot push. Oh, sorry, I have used the name ob na. Ob dot push of element some, and then again I think you are familiar with stack operations. Basically, with stack in vector, stack is extending vector in util package. This stack, whatever you see in util package, it is extended from vector. And basically, stack, we have 5 operations. You might have studied even with your academics. First is to check whether it is empty. Next, push operation, whichever element you wanted to push, you can do that. Next, pop operation, it will return you by removing the very lastly inserted element. And you also have another operation, peek. The only difference with peek and pop is pop will return the last element by removing it, whereas peek will return the last element without removing it. And lastly, you can even search for a element. So this is how basically you have. And okay, I think this is sufficient. Now what we can do is we can just use, okay, let me show you by directly displaying this. What happens, you will get an idea. So again it is returning you as list only. It's returning you as list. Hope you can understand the reason, because this is extended from vector, and vector is inherited from list interface only. So what we do is let's see with other functions. Ob dot peek, and Okay, what we'll do is I'll just display the same thing after this, and similarly here instead of peak I'll use pop, and okay, here itself I'll just do empty also. So all the basic operations I have just written, and let's see how it behaves. So you can see the first which I have displayed object itself, it is displaying me list, and next I have run peak, so it is returning me the lastly pushed element, that is Kumar. Again you can see it did not remove it, it did not remove it. Next I have used pop, so it removed me the last element and returned. That's the reason you can find it missing. And next when I'm searching for the element which is not there, it is returning -1. And when I'm checking for if it is empty, you can see what it is saying. So this is what you will be finding with stack operations, and it's inbuilt, which is extending vector class, which in turn inherited list interface. So this is what with stack. And next uh, okay, next we will see how to create a hash table. It's very important. So let's see hash table creation. Okay. And hash table is extended from dictionary, and it implements map interface. Just remember this point. Hash table is extending from dictionary and implementing map interface, and all the methods of hash table are synchronized. And another thing what you need to remember with regard to array list and vector also, vector methods are synchronized whereas array list methods are non synchronized. These are some things which you need to remember. Hash table is subclass of dictionary, where dictionary is an abstract class. Dictionary is an abstract class. So hash table have implemented all the dictionary abstract methods, and also map methods, and also map methods, because hash table syntax itself is hash table extends dictionary, implements map, where dictionary is an abstract class and map is an interface. I need not tell map is interface because I'm using the keyword implements. And all the methods of hash table are synchronized methods. And when I'm saying it is subclass of dictionary, you must understand that here you have to store values in key value pairs. Here you must store values with key value pairs. Just remember that point. So let's create hash table. Here I'm just using keys integers and values strings. So I'm going to create a hash table with the keys integers and values or strings. So in the same order you have to give. So first integer represents for key key type, and second represents value type. So why it's not giving this hash table? Okay, let me write import java dot util dot hash table. Okay, here T has to be small letter only. That's the reason it did not give me quick fixes, because I have used capital T. That's the reason even compiler did give me any quick fix. Now ht dot. So for adding elements to hash table, you have to use the method put. Here you can see ht dot put, and here let me give one, and the value has to be string. So let me use double quotes and then semicolon, again ht dot put 2 comma uh, okay, not compute. We have to use put only for adding elements. Let's just add this third element and we will see with other operations. Okay, so this is how you will be adding elements to hash table, and for getting the elements you will be using the method get, and to this get method you have to pass one argument which will be the key argument, now let me use enumeration, and as I said, hash table is also legacy class. So for legacy classes you can use enumerator, for iterating. So and then while p dot has more elements, and then p dot did I write this? It automatically came, I think. P dot next element. Now when I do like this, now the question is, when I'm directly writing it elements, and here we are having actually pair of elements, we don't have individual elements, we are having pair of elements. Now what it will be printing me, what it will return, this elements. So you can see what it have done, it have done only values displayed, but generally when you are storing with the key values, you will not be interested with only values to be displayed, you will be interested to display both key and value. So for that, instead of using the regular style of saying elements, you have another method. Here you can see keys, you have another method keys, you can just use these keys, and here what you can do is, now it is iterating over keys, so what you can do is, here now you can say e dot next element, which it will be the key, plus you can have some separator, whatever the separator you want you can just use it, plus So here the key, okay, I haven't stored this. I'll use the same thing. I think we have to use it separately because next element again it will be iterating with the key. So better we use it separate. And here what I'll be doing is this next element I'll write it separate, and I'll just take it in a variable s, which I'll declare it as a string. E dot next element. Okay, remember this. Here compulsory you have to perform this casting. It's mandatory to perform this casting. So I'll just use the quick fix provided to me, and here instead of writing this I'll just use yes because I have retrieved there, and here instead of writing key I'll use yes because yes is my key. Let's see how things work. Okay, integer cannot be cached to java.lang.string. Acha, it's correct point. Here e dot has more elements. I'm iterating over keys. Okay, here if I use, okay, now you can see how things are coming. So it is giving me key and value combinationally. It have returned me. So this is how you have to perform. So casting is must when you are iterating over keys. Otherwise, directly it will be iterating over elements only. So, but when you are iterating over keys, compulsory casting has to be performed when you are returning the next element. So, this is how you will be using enumerator along with the hash table. Not only enumerator, you can also use iterator. So, iterator usage is quite interesting. Here, what we have to do is compulsory we have to invoke the set interface. So here you can see what I am using. There is a method called entry set, which it will point to the entry of this particular thing. And then what I have to do is I have to use the iterator. Okay, variable duplication it will be. So let me remove this. Otherwise it will be duplication. Yes, dot. And then this will be again the same iterator instance. And then okay, set also don't use this generic element, and iterator again I need to import quick fix, and now again it will be something routine only. While I dot, okay, if you type wrong character it will not give you the options as next. And then here what I'll be doing is I'll be using map entry because this is coming from yeah, here you can see map entry what it is giving, key value k comma v. Map entry will get k comma v directly. So whatever that next will be returning now, it will return with k comma v. That means key and value will be returned. Entry. It's coming like this. Okay, let's just remove this. It's coming generics. If you are sure that you don't require generics, you can just ignore it. and directly you can get that. So here it will return directly that one. What is the error? Yeah, add cache to entry it is saying na. So just choose that quick fix. So I'm using that entry, and now what we can do is we can just print this with the key and value directly. So iterator have this method. It has to return me get key. Okay, I think here instead of entry we have to use map entry. If I use map entry, then this must provide me I dot get key. Okay. Okay, by performing casting, it's coming there. Let's check. And some separator again, plus, and then I dot get value we have to use. Again, I think it will ask me casting. Let's check this because iterator I haven't used. Directly I'm using for teaching with you. Cast to. I'll be using generally enumerator only. Just check how things will come. No, it's saying wrong. Actually, here actually something we are making mistake. I dot has next. It has to come. Iterator has those methods. Generally, iterator dot if I see with the m dot, yeah, sorry. This is the thing I have to use. When I have taken with map entry, I'm not supposed to use this iterator object. So that's the mistake I made. I have already taken that iterator next with map entry na. So we have to use that map entry object. Instead I was using iterator. That's the mistake I was making. I hope now it should come. Yeah, now it's working fine. So this is how you can use enumerator as well as iterator for this hash table. Hash table is a legacy class which is extending dictionary class, where dictionary itself is abstract class, and implementing map interface. Since it's legacy class, you can either use enumerator or iterator, but using iterator you have to use the map entry, which will be getting the iterators next as key value pairs, and you can use the map entries get key method and get value method to get the key values. So yeah, that's it from my end for today. So I have introduced in this class uh, the ways of enumerating over the collections using for each loop, iterator, enumerator, and I have shown you how to use vector class, which is a legacy class. and also I have shown you hash table, another legacy class, and also stack usage I have shown you along with linked list. So all these things I have covered in today's class, and in next class we will see few set classes. Right now we have discussed about list and map. Few of the set classes we will just cover, and with that I'll just put full stop to these collections. Rest of the things I'll leave it to you because I can't cover the entire collections as part of the training. I have just shown few of the collection classes, and few more I'll just show in next class as part of set using tree set, hash set, all those things I'll just show you in next class. That is on Monday. So on Monday I'll wind up collections, and if time permits, I'll introduce you to multi-threading. Multi-threading also I'll just take one session. In one single session I'll be showing you the ways of creating threads and performing synchronization. All that I'll show you in one single session, and later we get started with the most important thing, that is RDBMS, SQL, and JDBC connectivity. For that I'll take more time. Anyway, let's stop it here. Any queries, post it in the comment section. If no queries, give your roll numbers for attendance. So someone have already given me in the comment section that I have to use m.get key. Thanks for the answer. So this is how I want you people also to just answer in the comment section if I am making any mistake, and if you are able to recognize the mistake what I am making during this training. Yeah, anyway I have corrected it and I have shown you how to use the iterator using the map entry. This is the first time I have used iterator actually. Generally, as I said, I will be using enumerator only because enumerator is more convenient for me to use over the legacy classes because of simplest methods. And I hope all of you have given your attendance and I don't see any queries being posted. Okay, then let's wind up for today and meet on Monday. Monday again we will be meeting at same time 10:30 a.m. Thank you and bye.